Becoming a freelance filmmaker is actually pretty simple, but becoming a successful one is a whole different matter, which is why throughout this video, I'm gonna give you my 10 tips for finding success as a freelance filmmaker if you're just starting out in 2023. On this channel, we often talk about building a video production company, and I wanted to create something specific for people who are more interested in just going freelance as a filmmaker. For me personally, when I started out as a freelancer, and I did that for quite a few years before I decided I wanted to have a production company. The reason I decided to do that was basically because I couldn't see myself at 50 years old wanting to be a freelancer, getting up at the crack of dawn, coming home late at night, working all hours. So I decided to build a company and have a team of creatives and ultimately create something that was much bigger than just me. The downsides to being a freelancer is the fact that when you stop, so does the work. However, a lot of my close friends are freelancers and they're smashing it and often working on some amazing projects that I'm very envious of. So these tips are designed to show you how to become as successful as possible, and you can always decide at a later date if you want to start a production company or not. The main place to start is becoming a freelancer. Now, your portfolio is going to be the key in any creative business, and that's why you need to start by creating a good portfolio. The problem I see filmmakers come up against is that they often let perfect be the enemy of good. The most important thing is that you showcase your work. And I'm sure, like me, you've spent hours on an edit, just looking at it, revising it over and over again, trying to make it perfect, and just never being able to achieve that. And that's okay. That's part and parcel of being a creative that's growing. And you can ask the top filmmakers in the world, and they are still learning to this day. Your last shoot will often always be your best shoot, but you'll always wish that you'd done something differently. And if you were to do that shoot again tomorrow, guess what? You would probably do a better job because of that experience. That's a great place to be because it shows that you're growing, you're criticizing yourself, and you're striving to be better. If you come away from a project thinking that's the best you could ever do, then maybe you should reevaluate your way of thinking because it's unlikely that any creative is at the top of their game. Now, you might want to make a show reel, which is all of your best bits of work. That works really well when you're talking to production companies to get work. Or you can start to showcase the projects that you've worked on recently on your Instagram page or places like that. The most important thing is that you're showcasing your work and you're pushing your portfolio out there for people to see. And your portfolio doesn't need to be paid. It can be passion projects or unpaid projects if you're just starting out. But there's one thing for certain, if you don't have a portfolio, you won't get paid work. So that's why that's my first tip. Being a successful filmmaker all comes down to sales and your ability to make a sale, for someone's ability to see the value in you, to hire you as the perfect person to make their video. So my next tip is quite simply, email, email, email. You should be outreaching all the time. Creatives are often amazing at creating good content and being super critical on how they can make that content even better, but they often neglect the business side of filmmaking. You're already one step ahead because you're watching this channel, and that's exactly what we teach. We're showing you how to land clients so that you can become a successful filmmaker and not a starving artist. As a freelancer, you want to be targeting agencies, video production companies, business owners, and marketing managers. You have the luxury of being able to work white label for whoever, so you want to make sure you connect with those people. And the best way to do that is to send them an email or a DM and show them some of your work. You could get in touch with a local production company and you could say, hey, this is some of my work. I would love to be put on your list of freelancers and considered for future projects. For instance, with our production company, that's exactly what we do. We'll utilize freelancers who are on our books so that if we have a project come up and our internal team is currently on a shoot, then we can bring them in on that project. Or if they share expertise in a particular area, then we'll bring them into those projects too. But that only works if we know who you are. So make sure you outreach to production companies, marketing agencies, and get in front of the right people. Now, something I didn't do when I started out and actually regret because it would have helped me navigate through this industry is join some online communities, whether that's on Facebook, Reddit, or wherever it might be, and start to network with people in the industry. Filmmakers are generally a really collaborative bunch and they don't mind giving feedback on your work. For instance, in my own academy, we have a members group where people are constantly posting their work, so we can give feedback on it, which makes them a better filmmaker, and it means they're more likely to land higher paying clients. And why not take that one step further and actually shadow some businesses or some other freelancers? Video production companies and freelancers will love to get behind the scenes content to showcase the work that they're doing. So why not team up with some people and offer to shadow them? The hands-on experience that you'll gain from shadowing will be second to none. You'll be able to learn how they talk to clients, how they operate shoots, and really just to soak it all up. Shadowing is a great way of doing that. I did a lot of work when I started out for free and for cheap, just so I could be in those environments and understand how they operated. And that created the foundation that enabled us to build our production company. Which leads me nicely onto building connections. That's what filmmaking is all about. It's about building all of these connections. And in essence, that's exactly what sales is. So if you're going to shadow on a shoot, you'll be building a good connection. And if they see how willing you are to learn and you're really hands-on and willing to get stuck in, that's gonna be valuable to those people, which means you're gonna rank higher on their list of people to phone when they next have a project come in. So make yourself available, build those connections, because particularly as a freelancer, you need as many connections as you can, and they need to be really solid as well, so that those people know exactly who to call next time their production company or their agency gets a project come in. And your reputation goes far, particularly when you're a freelancer. So if you're generally a nice, likable person, then you're gonna get on well with people. But the most important thing is you need to meet those people and create those connections in the first place, and shadowing is basically a great way to do that and to build those connections. Every freelancer needs a website or some kind of online portfolio. The website doesn't need to be complex, it just needs to showcase your work and tell you a little bit about who you are, as well as a contact page as well to get in touch. This works really well if you're outreaching to agencies or to other businesses, so that you can showcase all of your work in one nice place. This is effectively your business card. This is what's gonna do the selling, to show them that you're the person capable of running their project. And social media platforms are really important for this, particularly Instagram. A very good friend of mine, Max Howard, is an amazing freelancer. He's very talented, works a lot with motorcycles and action sports. And he says that he gets most of his work through Instagram, and that's because he has a very impressive portfolio that he's continually pushing out there. So make sure you take advantage of online platforms and having a small website so that you have more chance of getting work. Now, it's gonna be completely natural to feel scared and have imposter syndrome and feel like you're not good enough to do this job or to pitch for certain jobs, and put your hand up and say, hey, I do video production, maybe I can help you. I see this time and time again with members in the academy. It's something that I focus on a lot because I think it's really important. Imposter syndrome is going to be something that you're going to face a lot throughout your journey. And it's only with experience and knowing that you are actually good enough and actually having faith in your ability to figure this stuff out, that's what's gonna take you forward, and you're gonna need to overcome that. So tip number 7 is to collaborate with other freelancers on projects, whether that's providing help as an assistant or as a second shooter. And also, don't be scared for pitching for work, whether that's through Facebook groups or LinkedIn. When someone says, I need a filmmaker, then take that opportunity, showcase your work, and if they land the project with you, they've seen your work, so they know that you're the right person for the job. So if they're believing in you, then you should believe in yourself. But first of all, you need to make sure you're pitching for those jobs. I think back to when I started, I used to go for almost any job out there. And actually, we were going for jobs that were tens of thousands of pounds and we would just never have got them. But I learned so much going through that process. Of trial and error that really enabled us to get to where we are today. And tip number 8 is gonna help if you're starting out. Now, a lot of people really focus on needing a niche. I have members in the academy, in our group mentoring sessions, say to me, Ross, I really don't know what niche I need to pick. And I say, don't worry about it. There's 2 things here. Sometimes your clients will dictate your niche. That's what happened with us. We just found we were doing a lot of work in this particular area, so we became part of that niche. The other thing is people pick a niche that they want to focus on, and that's equally fine, but you just need to know if there's actually enough work there. Is it a saturated market? Is there a demand for your services? Having a niche does happen over time. So my advice to you is to diversify to begin with and then narrow it down and niche down once you know what you like and what works. Having a diverse portfolio will also help when you're talking to some production companies because they'll know that they can rely on you for a whole array of different shoots, which means you're probably going to get more chances of work. Now, before I move on to my final 2 tips, if you want to make sure that 2023 is your best year ever and you want to lock that in, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. We continually post valuable information that helps freelancers and video production companies grow to that next level and land more clients. So if that's something you want to be a part of, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Not only that, it tells us that we're doing a good job too, and we should keep putting out videos like this. So number 9 catches a lot of people out. Don't invest unless you have to. Filmmakers have this thing of, it's all about the camera. The value that I give a client or that I give a production company is all in my equipment. That's where the prices go up. If I buy a higher, more expensive camera, I'm going to be able to charge bigger prices. My quality is going to be better. And experienced filmmakers will tell you that the camera helps, but it's a tool. It's what's in your mind and it's your skill set and what you're able to do that's important. Unfortunately, I've spoken to a lot of people throughout my years doing this who have invested in the latest camera gear and then are in panic mode because they don't have the clients to pay for it. Make sure you get the best clients first and you have that money coming in, and then use that money to invest in the best camera gear. But don't go into debt, don't put things on credit card, don't invest unless you have to. And finally, every filmmaker in the world that's successful will tell you they're still learning. I sit here on YouTube in front of you guys, in front of my Academy members, and I tell them I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm investing in mentors, seminars, events, so that I can take things from different industries even and apply that to a new way of thinking in my own business in order to grow. But if you find someone that's a few steps ahead of you, that's where you want to be, then connect yourself to that. Make sure you learn if you want to grow as a filmmaker. And you're clearly one step ahead of the others because you're watching this video and my channel is all about helping filmmakers understand the business side of filmmaking so that you can find success. But the unfortunate truth is that most businesses fail and most freelancers give up because they don't have that work. If you want to avoid these mistakes and navigate your way to success, then you should look at this video right here, where I'm going to show you some reasons that businesses fail so that you can learn from it and become the best filmmaker you possibly can.